Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. And yeah, today, or rather, let me say 2 days ago, I think today's Thursday, that was on Tuesday, I had commented during the front page news analysis. I think it was actually yesterday. Anyway, yes, it was yesterday, Wednesday. I'd commented on the Sanwo-Olu Listens initiative of the Lagos State government. And just as I finished the program, that was yesterday, I got a call from the Commissioner for Information, and the essence of what he was talking about is that it looks as if I don't have a clear understanding of what the program entails, and that was fair enough. Maybe there were some things that were not absolutely clear to me, so he then said that he heard that I was going to take them on later yesterday at 9:00, and I said no. Yesterday is exclusively for Diabomi, and we'd already missed one in the previous week, and therefore I'd be more than glad to take him on today, and he agreed. So we were expecting him this morning on phone. We'll talk about Sanwo-Olu, what did I call it now? Sanwo-Olu Listens. And we'd also then, of course, we asked that we wanted the names of those who are involved in the Ikoyi encroachment, and the names of those who are building houses that had been demolished. And you remember when we spoke on Tuesday, on phone on Tuesday to him, to be honest with you, I think he wanted to parry the question. I feel so sorry for him, but that's the job he took on. And in this job, there is no mercy. I do feel sorry for him personally sometimes. To be honest, I remember people saying when I started this about 7 years ago on radio that, he's looking for appointments and so on and so forth. And I just laughed. Because if there is one appointment I would never want to lay my hands on, it would be either a commissioner or a spokesperson, for a government or politician. For one simple reason, and one simple reason only: you lose your identity. It's very clear. When we criticize those who take those jobs, we must understand that you can't expect tomorrow now, if I'm a minister for information, I'd be speaking the way I'm speaking now, or doing the kind of job I'm doing. It doesn't work that way. Your job is to be a spokesperson of a government or a person, and you would jolly well do that or vacate the seat. So for my colleagues who aspire for such positions, just know that there is no hiding place for you, either shape in or shape out. Anyway, back to the discussion we were having before we drift. I was hoping that actually, in all honesty, we'd get a clear whatever on the Sanwo-Olu Listeners Initiative. Even though, having said that, whatever explanation I get, whatever initiative it is, I just don't like the idea of personalizing things in government. Okay, because if you do a Sanwo-Olu Listens program now, what if a year from now he's no longer the governor? Do you change the name? And I always believe in corporate practice, where professionals in the seats of power, in the corridors of power, where professionals push the corporate whatever of the government. We always need to see government policies and actions as one. We need to see the government as one. We need to build people's confidence, not in the leader, but in the government. Unfortunately, so many things get personalized here. And what that does at the end of the day, if care is not taken, is to make the leader look like somebody who loves attention and so on and so forth. I don't want to use the word megalomaniac. And I remember the reason why I was a bit hard on the governor on Tuesday with that is to drive home the same thing that I told publicly, not in any, that I told his predecessor, which later backfired on him. His predecessor got so much wrong advice and got so much entrenched in people who had other interests that surrounded him. he thought he could take on the Tinubu dynasty that brought him in. But that's a story for another day. I'm sure he'll be licking his wound somewhere and wishing he hadn't gone that route. The truth is very bitter, but it is only the truth that can set anybody free. In any situation that we find ourselves, in any situation, both private and public, one thing that always gives you freedom at the end of the day is the truth. Even in a blackmail situation, you've been caught doing something that you believe you shouldn't, for as long as you have a fear of the truth being told, you will fear the blackmailer. But if you are bold enough to come out to say, okay, fine, so I did it, that's it. End of story. And that's why, and there are some of us who cannot but tell the truth as and when due. Rather than for me not to tell the truth, I'll just not say anything. And therefore, our criticisms of the Sanwo-Olu, whatever, at that time was done in good faith. But the commissioner this morning cancelled he cancelled it. Well, should I say postpone? But postponement was somewhat indefinite. Because again, we also have a schedule we follow here. And since we had agreed, this is what I had scheduled for today. I had scheduled that we'll talk about the Sanwo-Olu Listeners Initiative, and then we'll also talk again to start talking about that issue of the Banana Island and know those who are involved. We will not relent until we know those who are involved. Because it is very, very significant. It is time we put our states, our country, and our society in some kind of balance where everybody is seen as equal before the law. If you went to Igodo last week and found people building illegal structures, all the telephone networks will be there when you parade those who did this thing, this nefarious activity. Because you see, what happened in Banana Island, going by what I saw in the papers and what has happened, is these people are guilty of stealing public land, which is a crime, and they're guilty of all kinds of environmental whatever. But the most important thing is that they actually stole government land. Because according to the story, they were samfilling and building on the land that didn't belong to them. Now, this is the government that has placed a premium on bringing to book the various and stopping the various Omonile practices. How is this different? How is this different? And until our elite, and until we get to know that the government that we have in place, local government, state, federal, will carry out the enforcement of the law no matter whose ox is God, then we will know that we are getting somewhere. Look at the issue of the issue. I asked the commissioner again, the issue of the cars. Don't worry, Sheriff, I'm not bringing it up in your own case again. Look, I'm just a person. I'm sure Sheriff can't wait for me to always leave the studio. Like, let him just leave me alone. Of course, you know Sheriff stands on the auctioning of the cars. So as soon as I mentioned it, his fingers stopped tweeting on the. So I just wanted to include that, Sheriff. Don't worry, I won't talk about it. So look at the issues of the car. It was said, if you remember, by the some coordinator that, some people were given the options to pay fines after they explained themselves. And so I asked the commissioner on that day that, does the penalty give an option of fine? And he said no. So how did that now happen? On what basis? I think that the little that I know of law and the little common sense I apply to law would say, if you found any reason for someone to, compassionate or otherwise, to have gone in the wrong direction, then maybe, for example, a woman was in labor and things like that, then that person should be free, rather than have a fine that has no provisions for it in the law. And I was hoping that by this morning, the commissioner would have tidied up that angle so that he could talk about it. But it wasn't meant to happen. Anyway, we move on. Okay, we move on, then we will readjust our schedule But let me be honest with you. These things, I will be truthful to you. These things do not make life easy for us here because we need to prepare this program. You just come listen to a program for 1 hour and go your way. You don't know how long it takes. The nights where you sit and work out the program in your head. You know, it looks seamless, but it's not as easy as it looks. But so our plans have been disrupted. Well, thankfully, I have something that is going to save me here. One of the things is this announcement, from the Lagos State's main COVID-19 testing laboratory, known as Lagos Biobank. Now, there's something that's making the rounds in the social media. Some investigating journalists had discovered that people were producing fake Lagos Biobank tests for travel. Okay, that there was some racketeering going on. What I didn't know, when I read the report, and I read it in a hurry, I must confess, what I didn't know or couldn't establish well is it that there is an Oluwole that produces these letters, or is it from the biobank itself? Is it that samples are never taken and certificates issued, or is it that samples are compromised? Those were the kind of things we would have loved to know if it had taken place. But the bottom line really is that it gave us a very, very bad name. By the way, let me tell you, if you come in the UK now, if you do originate your trip, or a citizen of certain countries, when you get to the UK, you are going to go on lockdown for 10 days, I think, in a hotel, paid by you. Don't think that the UK government is now going to house you in some Marriott. No, you are going to have to pay. So you are going to show evidence of having paid for the hotel. And in paying for the hotel, you are not going to stay in the swimming pool area or take a walk around the beach. No, you are going to be locked up in your room. Maybe the door will not be locked from the opposite side, but there will be a guard on every floor. In fact, what I suspect is that the hotels will probably have just one floor designated for this exercise. That's if the whole hotel itself is not. But you can't even come out from your room. In some cases, you might not even be able to open your windows. And food will be passed to you 3 times a day. Just within that. And within that period, you'll have to take 2 COVID tests. So that is the situation. But thankfully, Nigeria is not on that list yet. Now, if it now gets to a point where Nigerian certificates are suspect, I can assure you in a jiffy, we'll be headed for that list. And what that means clearly is don't come. Because I don't want to go anywhere and be locked up for 10 days. It doesn't make sense. The average cost is something between 1,200 and 1,700 pounds. If you multiply, I don't know what the current rate is. I think it's about 634, whatever. I don't know what it is now. I've lost interest in it. You can imagine how much that is going to cost you just to go to the UK. Anyway, in response to that, and I must give them that credit, the Lagos State Biobank has stated that COVID-19 testing will be for residents who are not traveling outside Nigeria. So if you want to travel, you can't go to the biobank to get a lab test on a COVID test, the results. You can't get it for travel in the Lagos Biobank. And it says that they have now added not to be used for travel purpose on the COVID-19 results from Lagos Biobank. So if you now get any results from there, it's going to be stamped not to be used for travel. And don't bother trying to do whatever, because the airlines won't even take you with that. Okay, so they have said that. And residents of Lagos who wish to travel outside Nigeria are enjoined to patronize the accredited private COVID-19 testing in Lagos State. And there's a list of so many of them here. There's a list of so many of them here. So they can... I think by now we'd have listed them on my blog, jimidisu.com, so you can see the number of laboratories and the one that is closest to you. This is for not to travel. Now, if you do need a COVID test, it will be done for free. And what the state has thankfully done is to close the doors on the racket that had been going on in the biobank, Lagos biobank. Some racketeering had been going on with or without the connivance of a few people outside. And with this, at least we have our credibility intact. And we thank God for his little mercies in that regard. And thank you, Lagos State, for doing that for us. So if you so like I repeat, if you get any test results from them now, it will be stamped boldly, 18 points caps, boldly. It will say not to be used for travel purpose. So the racketeers need to go find another job to do. And I had a sense of this. I had heard from the grapevine how this was going on and how some staff and so on and so forth had compromised the system. But I'm glad to know that all that is unless you really do have to travel abroad, I must say that traveling now is expensive and tedious. I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to set out tomorrow. Sheriff and I want to go on vacation. We want to go to the UK. First of all, we have to do a COVID test here before we even board that plane at Muritala Mohammed. With the latest now, on getting to the UK, within 3 days, we must do a COVID test. Within 5 days, we must do a COVID test. So let's assume we went for a conference and we are coming back within a week. Within that week, we'd have done 2 or 3 COVID tests. Now, on coming back, on your way back, coming back on your return trip, you are going to have to do another COVID test. Now, when you get here, you have to quarantine for 5 or 7 days and do yet another COVID test. And so unless it's absolutely necessary, I don't know why. The COVID test alone, let's do a quick calculation. It's 50, let's just say 50K going. You arrive there, you do another one for about £120 if it's private, if you're not a citizen. And you do one on the 5th day, another one. Then on your coming back again, you do another one again for £120. And then when you get here, after you've stayed at home for I think it is 7 days, you do yet another one. Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. We're getting very close to our commercial break. Our lines are open, just in case you have anything to say on what I've said so far. 0700 993 993 993. Morning, Collins. Let me take that first call, please. Hello? Yes. No, I don't.
That is that. I just need to look with me. Now, on this COVID test, this fake result, in Nigeria here, we know now. Even the president's signature, they report this. Thank God that Lagos has come out with this that stamp not to be used. Fine. Also again, please, I'm appealing, please, let it rain. No more protest for now. No protest for now. Let it rain. Let cops do the useful.
Okay, please. Thank you, sir. Let me quickly react before I go on a commercial break. That no, I don't think the commissioner does. The kind of function that he has. Sometimes there can be emergencies and things that, for example, I'll tell you this, Mr. Musba, why I'm almost sure. I checked his WhatsApp. The last time he was on WhatsApp was 5 a.m., which showed me that he must have been busy. You understand what I'm saying? As at the time I put a call through to him at about 8:30 or so to remind him, he hadn't even had a look at his WhatsApp, and the last time I had a look was 5 a.m. So that told me a lot. I don't think Mr. Motoshaw doesn't have to dodge. He has the requisite experience as a journalist, so he knows what to say and what to do and what not to do. I think we will get to do it some other time. I don't think he will do it because dodge. We ready for the commercial? Yeah, okay. But because dodge, it's not. You can't run away from the fact that we'll keep insisting that we want to know those, especially in the Banana Island issue. We want to know those who are responsible, those who are, we will keep insisting on it. We need to know. We need to know. We won't let it go away. And I expect other media, to pick it up. I expect people to write editorials, keep asking, who are they? Who are these VIPs that went and built a house, Sam Field and built a house in Banana Island? We will keep insisting on that. Quietly, slowly but surely. I'll take a break and then we'll be right back to look at other issues.
Hello, this is a public service announcement to our dear customers that don't have NIN or are yet to link their NIN to their MTN lines. As mandated by the NCC, MTN will be linking your national identification number NIN to the same registration information you have already provided to make the process easy for you. Here are 2 simple ways to get it done. Log on to my MTN app or dial *785*NIN#. If you don't have a NIN, visit www.nimc.gov.ng to find an enrollment center near you. If you have registered but can't remember your NIN, dial *346# with the phone number you registered at enrollment. Please remember, apart from your primary line, you must also link your NIN to all your MTN lines and data SIMs such as MiFi, High Netflix, and any other line you use on the MTN network. This announcement is very important. To avoid disconnection, all lines must be linked before 6th April 2021.
Hey! Omo, make you no sleep on top bicycle. This better don't tie rapper for those of una wey never use una MTN SIM for over 15 days now. MTN don't charge. Come increase your welcome back of our woof to 12 times your recharge when you load 100 naira and above. Yes, so no be 1, no be 2, no be 3, no be 4, no be even 10 sef. Now 12 times your recharge, then go take credit and data knock your phone. This one means say if you recharge 100 naira, MTN go summon you with 900 naira credit plus 300 naira data bonus. If you can't recharge 200 naira, now 1,800 naira credit go drop for your phone plus 600 naira data bonus. Just make sure so you use *161 recharge pin hash take recharge and enjoy your bonus for up to 30 days. Omo, this one don't pass welcome back. MTN can add short banker second term on top self. Hey, where that my MTN SIM? Make me self begin follow enjoy better too.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
You're listening to Jimi Disu right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yeah, you're welcome back to Daily Digest with Jimi Disu, brought to you by MTN. By the way, I think it's if we keep repeating it, I think they deserve it. We'd like to thank MTN for making this program possible. Right, so I'll take a few more calls and I'll go into some other story that I have here. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Yeah. Uncle Jimmy, good morning, sir.
Morning, how are you?
Yeah, thank you very much. Shano.
Yes.
I agree with Ambassador Musibao. For me, no protest. Even day one, before that thing that happened at Lekki, I wish they listened to you. Or they listened to me. I said it, and people were saying, no, when did the time to... I said, no, Nigeria is not ripe for protest. Please, parents, talk to your children. But at the end, look at what happened. Okay, look at the investigation or the panel. So please, I want to beg them once more. There's no point going to Lekki on the third, on that Saturday to go and protest or this. Please, I'm begging them. They should stay up that place. Then for the government, if they can, for God's sake, people are paying tax. You use tax money to build the toll or build the road, and now you are still taxing people. Can you let go of that toll gate because of these young ones that died? Thank you, Uncle Jimmy.
Okay. Let me lend my voice to that. Not so much because of the young ones that died. I mean, that's a symbolic part. But also because it never made sense in the beginning, from the onset. You don't start a toll right bang in the middle of the city. And I'm sure that for those who live on this axis, they can remember the chaotic situation that we had months back before the NSAS Act and the kind of peaceful movement that you have 24/7 on that axis. I mean, that's a common sense thing. If the government brings back the toll, it's some kind of punishment on people who live in that axis of town. It's a big punishment. Sometimes the traffic goes all the way back to Ozumba and Badiwe. And I don't think because you want to raise funds for building of a road, you subject your people to so much punishment. If we had an effective NHS system, you would have been able to trail the health consequences of some people who go through that axis on a daily basis, how they would have come down with hypertension and all kinds of things. It is a big punishment to have the tolls there, a very, very big punishment. And we hope the government will find a way to see how that can be done. The government belongs to the people. They say it's for the people, by the people. No, it's for the people. Well, it belongs to people. And we must always look at an overall, when we're making decisions, we need to take a total overview of the effects of this. Because you want to collect money, what about the lives that are lost, the health that is compromised in that neighborhood, the free flow, the kind of business. Yesterday, I was able to leave this place at about 5, 6 or thereabout to go towards Chevron. I couldn't have done that this time last year. I wouldn't have dared. So please, we plead with government. It's no longer even an issue of pride, because what you then have is some hardliners within government would be telling those in charge, you mustn't be seen to be succumbing to pressure of the people. There are always these people around anybody in power. They keep goading and pushing the person. You mustn't be seen to be, and they keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And that's how they were able to push the man who was previously on the seat and keep pushing him until, we had, we know what we know. That was a very sad situation. And I hope that history will deal decisively with those who goaded that poor gentleman into doing some of the things that he did. And it was on the basis of that I was highly critical of whatever program it is, calling it Sanwo-Olu Listens. Whoever suggested that to the governor doesn't like him. And I stand by that. Even if you were going to have an empowerment program, and I don't believe in empowerment per se, let us treat our people with dignity. What do you mean empowerment? You keep throwing cash at every little problem. But if you provided an overall structure that made people maintain their dignity, some of us have lived in that kind of era before. But in a case where you lean on the cookie jar, you use public funds as you wish and impoverish people and now start throwing them candy out of the window, it's unacceptable, and we need to put an end to that practice. And like I said, even if you had an initiative that was noble, whatever it was, why should you tie the governor's name to it? Even if you had, couldn't you call it the Lagos State, or even Lagos State Listens? And look, listen, I keep maintaining governance is not about hyping. The advisors who are in this Lagos State government, they're advising the governor wrongly. It's his predecessors before who didn't do hyping are still acknowledged till today. And I'm sorry I have to keep referring to it. Fashola didn't hype anybody. I didn't even know who his commissioner for information was. I can't even remember who he just did the job. Because people are going to assess a governor based on what he has done to make their life comfortable, not what he sees being hyped in the social media or what. So the template is wrong. And I had seen that and had reason to caution the governor publicly to say, sir, governance is not show business. It is not show business. And we have seen that all over the world, hyping doesn't do much to you. You can't tell me or endear me to appreciate a governor whose efforts I have not felt personally. People are getting wiser by the day. And that's what brought about my criticism of Sanwo-Olu Listens. If he listened, we wouldn't have traffic. You see, because what you do is if you go along that line, then people who have critical thinking, who can think critically, will be saying that, okay, he listens. We've been speaking about traffic, nothing really done. Speaking about the environment, where there's a bit of an improvement in the environment, I must admit. Traffic, no. Okay, and generally, people are complaining about life in Lagos. Is overwhelmed. I can understand the pressure. Lagos is seriously overpopulated. But that will not be an excuse for the absence of good governance, because we didn't vote somebody in to be an analyst of a bad situation. We voted that person in to solve the problem. And I have said that a government shouldn't shy away from making the states unlivable for those who have no business being there. People of no. Let me give you an example, so you know what exactly I'm talking about. As far back as I turned 50, about 16 years ago, in Benin Republic, if you want to ride an Okada, for example, which is one of the problems we have here, what do? You are given zones. Let's take Lagos as an example. You are told you can only be on Victoria Island, you wear a blue jacket. You can only be in Ikoyi, where you are allowed to ride, you wear a red jacket. You can do this, you can do that. So you're given zones. Then on every jacket that you wear is a very large number, 008, 310, whatever. The reason for that number is that if anything happens, from your jacket number, somebody can, if a crime, for example, is committed, from afar, somebody can say, okay, yes, this is 310 purple. In any case, it will be within the area. Now, I have gotten to understand, I was advised yesterday, that Ondo State went further than what I've just done. What happens in Ondo State is that they have worked with the unions, and each union has a leader. So, if you want to ride an Okada, or you want to drive an Okada, or whatever it is, run the Okada business in, let's say, in Ondo State, you have to go and meet the leader who would identify you and register you and give you the prerequisite uniform, so that from far everybody can know that this is Collins. This is from Collins Zone in Yaba. He's wearing a red jacket. This is from, and you can. But what do you have in Lagos? We have left the no monitoring whatsoever. You keep complaining about the influx of Okada and you do nothing about it. No monitoring, nothing. It's free for all. I can jolly well grab a bike now and hit the streets. You can't do that. You have to regulate this. It's not just by law. And that explained why we suddenly had an influx, because apparently those who were plying their trade in Ondo and couldn't meet the conditions for registration of Okada now ran to Lagos, which has been seen as a free-for-all state. So these are the things that we need our government to do with deep thinking. It was quite embarrassing to see on Tuesday in the papers, where the governments and their agencies, some of them were throwing up their arms about their Papa crisis and said there was nothing they could do about it. That they've been overwhelmed. This was caused by the government not applying deep thinking and a procedure. Lagos cannot be seen as you can't be running the public transportation when you have no identity. No well-run city operates that way. Where you have numerous Okada riders, you don't know how to get them, you don't know anything. So what you now have is neighborhoods have now resorted to self-help. They build gates, put a guard there, and say no Okada is going to come in here. We've all resorted to self-help. And with pockets of this all over is what has brought the emergency and the security system to where people now say, okay, they want to offer help to do this. We will keep talking about these things. We are not against any government. It's not a case of this doesn't like. These are things that you can see. And our governor in Lagos needs to catch up. Quit the hyping, get the job done. No apologies for asking you to consult the man who was there before you and got it right. There is nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can't hype things in an open society anymore. If care is not taken, you bring yourself to ridicule. I remember his handlers did something when he had COVID, and COVID cannot bring the governor down. You're not talking to teenagers. You're talking to a state. And therefore, all this teenager level hyping it's just not going to work. It's not going to work, and I insist on that. We'll have them later. The story I wanted to actually talk about was the 400 Lekki Tollgate neighbors displaced as Lagos demolishes houses. And it says that no fewer than 400 residents on Foreshore Road, Lekki, have been displaced. That is is commendable, but you need to go further. Let me give the government another example. You now need a policy on construction sites. You have construction sites dotted. I'm sure that my brothers and sisters, my little brothers and sisters living in Ikoyi and environs don't know the danger they are under, and I will explain it to them. Now we have a free-for-all, laissez-faire attitude towards construction. But guess what it is? What it means is that in our highbrow areas where people feel that they are so secure, you have high-rise buildings that are occupied, under constructions that are occupied by all kinds of people, including Okada riders, Akaras, name it. They're occupied, they sleep there at night. What I would have thought is this. Every construction site should be boarded, meaning that it should be gated. Construction in the state should stop by 6 when everything is so clear, and everybody must leave that site by 6. Every construction worker should be registered so that you can identify them. And that is so easy to do because usually you have a builder who would be the one, and he would be held with the responsibility that you have to have a jacket, a reflective jacket that shows your company name. So at any time you go to a site, you know that these are the registered workers of that site. And even your suppliers, you would have emergency jackets for them. Now, you would then say, because of the way we are, this is not a time for the freedom of this and that. We are in a very dire situation. All construction sites must be closed by 6. So by 6:15, you do not expect to see anybody hanging around under the excuse of, I work in this building or I work in that building. I hope the government is listening to this. We need to supervise every aspect of our life that lends a hand to criminal activity. And with a lot of thinking, I hope this will get done. Our lines are still open, as I have just about 10 minutes to go. 0700 993 993 993. Let's have another caller here. Hello, morning. Sorry? It's been there for long. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hello? 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 Oh, he's gone in.
Hello, Jimmy.
Yes, hello, yes. Pastor.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Quickly, this is Pastor Ladipo calling from Oregon.
Yes.
My take this morning, sir, do you know that the easiest way to embezzle is through this empowerment? Because they don't give accurate account of what is spent on it. That is by the way. Secondly, a lot of people gain from kiosk, anything when things are not well settled, and that is the case of Lagos State. Lastly, you are saying that they should regulate what they do.
There's another TV network rather than being here. Yeah, well, it's a matter of preference. I don't take any offense to that. But ours was scheduled and he had agreed. Okay. All right. Let me take another call. Hello. Hello. Hey, Kelvin.
Uncle Jimmy.
Anna.
To God be the glory.
Yes.
Yes, Uncle Jimmy. 2 years ago, we said it on the different platform that the Lagos State government is destined to succeed under the leadership of Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
Yes.
Because propaganda and hyping has an expiring date. If you don't know, ask Dr. Paul Gobes, who was the chief propagandist of Hitler. It has an expiring date. It will not last forever. So the governor is destined to succeed. And that is why, at this point, he must listen to the voice of reason. Apologies to the great Obafemi Awolowo. Having said that, I think, again, that at this point, the commissioner told us earlier that he was going to release some names. I think those names should be named and shamed. After you have said it on air here, there should be a register for them so that we will know those that are violating the law, and we'll begin to name and shame them in the newspaper, in the dailies, so that it will be made public. Not only the poor people that will be named and shamed. That will not be a good idea at all. So I rest my case on that.
Okay, thank you. Well, yeah, I mean, hyping does, and I said then, given the analysis, his background, and having spoken to him, that he has a wherewithal, more so with the kind of deputy that he has. He has who is my favorite person. I must quickly add in case somebody takes me up on that. I don't know him. I've just seen him about twice, but he's my favorite. There's something about that gentleman that endears me to him. But I met the two of them. Okay, I met them on a number of occasions, listened to them, and I believed that they had the wherewithal to get the job done. But I think that there's a lot of political pressure that the governor needs to wade off. And I think what the best thing for him to do is let him make up his mind whether he needs a second term or not. If he's ready to leave print his name, in history, as having been a successful governor, he should forget about second term. Fashola was denied the second time by the powers that be, but we, the people, stood up for him, and he got it. So that's a parable. That's some kind of parable there that I've given. Hello, I have another caller. Hello, morning. Hello? Oh, we lost that one. Do I have another caller? Hello, morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Jimmy.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. My name is Dennis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, about construction workers living in construction sites. I'm into construction myself.
Yes.
And I want to tell you categorically that more than 60% of our skilled and unskilled workers in Lagos are from our neighboring countries. They come in with no plans for accommodation. They live from construction site to construction site. When they are finishing this job, they are moving to the next one. And they live there until the job there is done. And then when that is finished, they move to the next site. So if that is going to be addressed, I think a whole lot of work needs to be done to regulate their coming into the country without the requisite papers and all.
Yes.
So I think there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done.
Thank you.
And that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. And I don't think we should shy away because of the enormity of these are peculiar times. People will come up, what do you expect them to do? And so on. These are peculiar times. And unless we face a bit of hardship, we will not have freedom ultimately. The times we live in are perilous, and we can't just pussyfoot and say, I heard what he said, and I agree with him. They live on the sites. It will then be the job, if it's going to add to the cost of construction, so be it. It will then be the job of whoever is handling the construction to provide accommodation for them nearby in a place that is identifiable. But where you have a situation, you have 4, 5-story buildings and people landing there at night, people of questionable character also do show up there and so on and so forth. We can't continue like that. Look at, by not regulating the Okada business now, we've been invaded by a waiting army. Every time you look at the Okada riders, this is a waiting army, ready to unleash whatever they have on us, and heaven just help us. I'll take another caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, morning.
Good morning, Mr. Jimmy.
Yes.
This is Mr. Charles online.
Yes.
Yeah, but I want to talk about this governor listing. To be frank, the first day I saw this thing, I was overwhelmed because there's a lot of things I will know how to look into. This thing, you have to find a humble man in Lagos State to take off these people, not for him to be using Lagos State funds. We are talking about the Fort Miller Bridge, security rampant everywhere. Here in Ikorodu, so much killing. People are using Okada, robbery, and go freely without nobody even get away. They get away with their crime. So I don't know what is doing about the security. I remember during Fashola, this RRS is working perfectly. You can move 2 o'clock. You get home safety without no harassment.
Okay, sir, fine. I think your point is noted. Please note when you call in, you have just about a minute, so you have to compress your thoughts. And I'll soon be leaving. A last call, please.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, 1 minute you have, yes.
My name is Adenose Patrick.
Where are you? Are you back in town?
Yes, sir.
Please come tomorrow. Okay, that's another. 9 o'clock tomorrow. Come by 8, I'll throw in breakfast for you, okay?
Fasting anyway, but I'll come tomorrow.
Come tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, please go on. Where is he? Oh, he disappeared. Okay. Well, we'll have Adenusi Patrick tomorrow. I just picked that up right now. I'm glad to see him back. He was away, and I'm glad, he's a traffic expert. And between now and tomorrow, I hope Adenusi will do his homework well, because we're going to be talking about this Apapa traffic that seems to have, the solution that seems to have evaded us completely. So Adenusi Patrick will be here tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and we'll be able to talk about, what he thinks can be done in the case of the Apapa traffic. I got to go now. He's been a strong, just just for you to realize 5 minutes going on here that your guest will not be here. And what rubs in the pepper, the one with pepper me pass, is I was on another station. I'm going to roast him for that. Now that's a joke. We'll sort it out between us. So we'll be back again tomorrow. Adenusi Patrick will have him for close to about 30 minutes tomorrow, and we'll do whatever we can do later in the day. Okay? So we'll be back again tomorrow. It'll be nice. I'd like to thank Collins here and Sheriff, who was here originally, and I'd like to thank Philip for his assistance as usual. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Yellow. This is a public service announcement to our dear customers that don't have NIN or are yet to link their NIN to their MTN lines. As mandated by the NCC, MTN will be linking your national identification number, NIN, to the same registration information you have already provided.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.